是我没穿晚过的。Thank you. Hi, how are you? I'm sorry to keep everyone waiting. I apologize. Oh, I'm going to take this.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
This one's better. Well, nice to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's thank you. Well, Juan Miró. I was at that museum last week in Barcelona.
Oh,
Fondation Juan Miró.
it's not that cold there, right?
Yes. But I'm happy to be here to celebrate with friends from the Chinese community the recent agreement to give Canada designation as a place for Chinese tourism, of course, through the approved destination status granted by the People's Republic of China during Prime Minister Harper's very successful visit to China last month. We were delighted to see so much progress made in the bilateral relationship. You know that I think there have been over 10 ministerial visits to China in the past year, and I think about 20 ministerial visits since our government took office in 2006. And we've seen remarkable progress on a number of long-standing issues. Like, for example, our predecessor Liberal government had tried for 13 years to obtain approved destination status with China and did not succeed. But the Prime Minister, of course, managed to get that endorsement from Beijing on his first trip. And this will allow for a substantial increase in Chinese tourism to Canada, which will be good for our economy and will help to reinforce both human and cultural and economic ties between Canada and China. You know, that is on top of an already significant increase in Chinese tourism. We have seen a 25% increase in Chinese tourism to Canada since we came to office in 2006. We've seen more than a 40% increase in Canadian exports to China since that time. We were also, however, very pleased to see other progress being made, including agreement on agricultural imports by China that will assist Canadian agricultural producers. You know, this is also part of our expanded trade promotion strategy with China, where we've opened, I believe, an additional 6 trade promotion offices in the PRC. This is part of our government's broader vision of diversifying Canadian export markets. For too long, Canada has been almost completely dependent on the United States as an export destination for our goods and services. And so when the United States has been deeply affected by the recent global downturn, it's hurt us in Canada because we're so dependent on that one country for our trade, which is why Prime Minister Harper believes that it is so important to pursue deeper and broader trade relationships with China and the rest of the world. And I want to thank those in the Chinese-Canadian community who have given us their good advice on how to make progress in the Canada-China relationship in a way that advances Canada's interests while being faithful to our democratic values. And I think we've established that tone of a respectful dialogue between the two countries. So I'm happy if we're going to take any questions, or happy to do that.
Actually, we're going to let me have a quick say.
Please.
Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you.
And hello, everyone. So welcome to our Canadian China Tourism Association meeting. Thank you for everybody taking your time out of your busy schedule in discussing our good news on the agreement of ADS. And again, let's welcome our Honorable Jason Kenney, Minister of Citizenship, Immigration, and Multiculturalism. And so glad to have him join us today. Now, just a quick introduction on the Canadian China Tourism Association, which was formed by Canadian travel agents, tourism-related businesses and associations, and it was established in July 2009. Our association is a comprehensive travel industry association which aims to contribute to the promotion of communication between China and Canada. At present, our association has more than 40 members, which includes national travel agencies, airlines, hotels, famous attractions, restaurants, and the local major media associations all over the country. Now, since we have Jason Kenney already have a speech, now I will invite Bobby Tad to make his brief speech. Thank you.
Honorable Jason Kenney, really thank you and appreciate you coming and give us a chance.
Thank you.
Okay, and we will say really thank you for Mr. Jeff and Julia and Marisa.
So, yeah.
They give us a very good job for us.
They do indeed. They
Yeah. So I think our member have very limited
Great.
time to give some information to you. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. You carry on. No, you carry on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Ben Leung. By trade, I'm a chartered accountant. I'm the financial advisor to this CCTA. And we've been waiting for this treaty to be signed a long time. And since we got these treasures, now I'd like to see how can we
How to
execute
exploit it? Yeah.
And first of all, I'd like to see how Canada can promote Canada overseas. So they have a right image about Canada when they come over here, what they want to see, what they see. Secondly, we'd like to see our visa office in overseas in China can effectively, efficiently execute the visa application. Then more people can come rapidly. They can come easily, but under a standard screening procedures. And third, as the industry itself, I would like to see that Canadian Chinese or Canadian tourism business can have a very fair platform for competition. So they could provide good service, good value to the newcomers. And for the tour itself, I would like to see the Canada and even in the airport itself can provide some facilities that because most of Chinese are not bilingual, English and Chinese, so we have more size can assist the newcomers. They will know they are right now in Canada soil. And also, in Ontario, the HST comes in really soon. I would like to see an effective way for people who want to make some purchase to promote Canadian made goods. When they bring back home, they can get the VAT or our HST back easily. So that would be tell people when they come overseas, they are willing to buy more Canadian goods. That's how I would like to see what happens.
Thank you
in
very
the
much.
next few months.
Thank you. Good comments. I'll listen to everyone and then I'll respond here. So.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ben Liang. And now let's welcome Mrs. Zhang to say a few words.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Benny and all the guests and friends. My name is Ben Jiang. I'm a lawyer and I'm the legal counsel of CCTA. This is such a busy Friday afternoon, but I feel it's pleased to come here to share this wonderful time. I consider as a celebration. As a Canadian, I feel extremely proud right now. We are well positioned and well prepared to welcome more visitors and friends from China. And as a person from China with Chinese friends and relatives, and my excitement came from another side because I just imagine in the very near future, while my cousins or brothers sisters they just join the group and come to Canada. So it's truly wonderful news. Doesn't matter whichever perspective you look at. And as a professional, I'm a lawyer, so I'm excited also just to want to see how this new development would give us legal challenges. Of course, there will be many legal issues, and I just like to see how whole thing is going to play out and what kind of inputs we can put into it, just make the whole process easier and more effective, and make the designation actually is really the good thing and the easy thing for both countries.
Very good.
We just talk about it. Yeah, we mentioned once maybe Canadian government would do some advertisement and set up the tourist company their organization own advertisement, how to just basically present the image of Canada. Maybe that's the government would be the best position to do that.
Yes. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I invite Daniel Blagout from DoubleTree to make a speech.
Mr. Minister,
Yes, good to see you.
hi Jason, good seeing you. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to add to all of that. You know, my our congratulations on behalf of the hotel industry, to yourself and to the government for, coming back with this agreement. I guess I would like to simply encourage, or we would like to encourage the government to make use of. There's been a tremendous investment in China. The Canadian Tourism Commission has had for many years an agent on the ground and offices. I'm sure you're aware of that. This is going to be a monumental task and a pleasant task of educating the Chinese population on Canada and putting us in the forefront. And so to adequately fund and support their efforts. Similarly, the Tourism Toronto, which represents a lot of our interests here, has also had the foresight of establishing offices and people, and have in fact dedicated individuals that have been working on promoting Toronto as a destination, and Canada, of course, situated in Canada, to bring the Chinese people to this country.
Thank you very much. I
Thanks.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Bobby, do you need to add anything? Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Jason Kenney, would you like to add anything?
Well, I just wanted to thank you for those comments and the good work of the CCTA and all of its member companies, the travel agents, the hotels, the members of the board, and the volunteers for their good work and their patience in waiting for this important announcement. I agree with you. It's very important now that we now that we've achieved it. It's not just good enough to sit on our laurels and celebrate that. We need to move forward aggressively in the best Canadian entrepreneurial spirit and exploit the opportunity this creates for large numbers of large package tours from China. We know that we're going to be competing with countries that have already had ADS for a number of years, with European countries, with the United States, with Australia, etc. And but we have a great product to sell. We have what is the world's second largest country, and I would argue most beautiful country, with an amazing diverse geography, with amazing sites, with amazing cultural diversity, a safe country, with relatively low levels of crime, with everything from the beginnings of European. You can visit. It's like going and visiting old Europe when you go to Quebec City and visit the foundations of the 1600s, all the way to the amazing open north to the Great Lakes and the Niagara Falls. Right across the country, we have these great views and experiences to sell to people from China. We have a growing middle class in China of hundreds of millions of individuals who now have the resources to travel, and our government has also, as you know, expanded significantly the international air traffic coming to Canada with a number of open skies agreements, including a recent open sky agreement with Korea. So for all of those reasons, I think we have a tremendous product to sell. We now have the means to sell it to large numbers of Chinese citizens. We have the, as Daniel mentions, have had for some time, a presence of the Canadian Tourism Commission in the PRC, and we need to obviously work on expanding that. Now, the government itself, we have a minister who's responsible for tourism, my colleague Diana Blonsey, very dedicated on this, and she's working with all the stakeholders. And she's responsible for coordinating the federal government's relations with the Canadian Tourism Commission. And I will pass on to my colleague Diana Blonsey, and indeed to the Prime Minister's office, the remarks that we've heard here today about the need to move forward with tourism promotion in a really aggressive, well-resourced way. We don't want to just celebrate this agreement. We need to move further. We need to introduce those Chinese who don't know about Canada to the amazing opportunities to visit this country, and of course we have some historical goodwill to draw upon. Canada's long friendship with China and the Chinese people, the size of the Chinese community here, the largest immigrant community in Canada, over 1 million strong. And when you mention with the fact that we need perhaps better Chinese language services at our airports, I think that's that's a point well taken. I'll pass that on to our Minister of Transport responsible for the airports, John Baird. I can tell you that my ministry does support actually some Chinese language and other non-official language services at our airports for people arriving, particularly for immigrants, obviously. But I think we need to look at how we can expand that for tourists as well. Now, you also raised the issue of visa services. I understand that's a big part of making it easier for people to come here. We have expanded the number of places where people can apply for visas in China through the opening of, I think, 4 visa application centers in the PRC, in addition to, of course, Hong Kong, the consulate in Hong Kong and the consulate in Shanghai and the embassy in Beijing. So we have 7 places in Greater China where people can go and apply for visas. For tourist visas, we actually have a very high acceptance rate and very good service. Most of them are approved within 48 hours. And we're constantly looking for ways that we can improve service. So thank you for flagging that. I pass on to my ministry the need to make sure that we embrace the opportunity here of the ADS with continued improvements in visa service. And finally, on this issue of the HST, I'll look into that. I mean, as you know, people can apply to get a refund on the GST, and I believe that is the case for the HST as it exists in the 4 Atlantic provinces that have the HST. So we'll have to look at how we can expand that to Ontario and British Columbia, which will be adopting the HST as well. But thank you for those very good concrete remarks. I'm glad that you're celebrating this as well, and that people are already coming as a consequence of it. And I hope that what I'd like to do is offer to set up a meeting between the CCTA and Minister Diana Blonsey, so that you could speak directly to her about your hopes and your recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Jason Kenney. Now, Bobby would like to present a gift.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we just invite you to China for next year.
Absolutely, sure.
For the China Shanghai Expo, and you can have time join our seminar for CTTA.
Good idea.
In the China Hangzhou city.
Thank you.
And we have some gifts for you with the China city for China.
Lovely, beautiful. Thank you.
Okay.
谢谢.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You don't mind if I open it now?
We open questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let me help you.
Also, you would like to receive some flowers from North Star?
Oh, flowers. Thank you very much. Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I don't get. No one ever gives me flowers. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. So now we're open to Q&A answers from the media. And you, as a reminder, you can also ask questions that are non-related to the ADS as well.
Sure.
All right.
Hi. Go ahead.
Hi, it's John from Omni Television. I have one question. The local Chinese community is very excited to see the ADS finally came to Canada.
Yeah.
And it's kind of built a new bridge between the two countries. But unfortunately, this bridge can be used by some criminals, even illegal immigrants as well. So what's your strategy to prevent it from happening?
Well, the strategy is the visa that we have in place. We've raised the importance of making sure that legitimate travelers are able to get visas with a minimum of inconvenience. But in our view, we need to maintain the visa in place for precisely that reason, because our government's first responsibility is to protect the safety and security of Canadians, and I have a responsibility to ensure the integrity of our immigration system. So we don't want people using this as a loophole to come to Canada if they are criminals, or if they have bad intentions, or if they intend illegally to immigrate to this country. And that's why we'll continue to require that visitors obtain the visa, and that gives us an opportunity to assess their intentions and to assess what their likelihood of coming back to China after their visit. I'll tell you, I hope some of the visitors who come as tourists fall in love with this country and they hope to
And
decide to immigrate.
Invest here. And
Yeah,
immigrate here.
and they invest here and they
Yes.
immigrate here eventually, but the legal way, and that they don't just stay.
Yeah.
And that's why we have the visa in place.
Yeah, Mr. Kenny, a couple of weeks before, Member of Parliament from Mississauga, Bob Thatcher,
Yes.
mentioned that CIC is working with another visa status, especially for the group tourists from China. Well, I'd like to know, do you have any details about the new visa status for?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what Bob was referring to, but I can tell you that we do work with tourism package operators in countries abroad, including China, to provide an efficient service. And basically, that happens where the tour promotion the tour promoter who's organizing a tour will invite people to fill out the forms and submit their passports, and then the tour operator will come into our embassy or consulate with all of the package together. And let's say there's 40 people coming on that tour, they'll come in with the 40 passports and the 40 applications completed and the 40 bundled application fees, and that makes it much easier for us to process them because we know all those people are coming together on a bona fide tour. And we also, our officials abroad try to identify legitimate tour operators and develop positive working relationships with them. So there's a developed relationship of trust. Because there are some countries abroad where people try to scam their way into Canada illegally by joining tours. And so we need to make sure that the tour operators are doing their due diligence to make sure their customers are legitimate. So as long as that happens, I think we will be able to, that's what I was talking about in terms of improved service, that these bulk tour operators, if they bundled the applications together, should be able to get faster turnaround and a fairly high approval level in the visitors' visas.
So you are talking about the approach of application, but now it's a different visa class.
No, there's no, there must be some misunderstanding because we actually, legally speaking, we only have one kind of visa for temporary residents. It's called a temporary resident visa. And it's the same legal instrument whether you're coming to be an investor or a tourist or what have you. It's a 6-month, typically a 6-month temporary resident visa, and we don't have different classes for that.
Thank you.
Jason, ADS is a good news, obviously, but there must be some challenges regarding this kind of project. Can you share with us what will be the challenges that you might speculate?
Well, a good challenge will be that we anticipate far more visa applications, so my ministry will have to increase our resources so that we can process more applications. But we're happy to do that, and of course, people do have to pay a fee to get their visas, so that won't cost taxpayers anymore. Also, as I mentioned, there will be some people trying to sneak in, perhaps through the as tourists when they don't intend to return, or maybe they have a troubled background. And so we need to continue to use our due diligence to make sure that everyone coming is a legitimate visitor that intends to respect our laws. And the only other challenge I would see is really that now that we have the opportunity to sell these package tours, the biggest challenge has already been discussed, which is promoting Canada and improving the Canadian brand in China, improving the profile of the Canadian tourism brand. We have, as I said, a very positive base to start with, but we're competing with all the European countries, with Australia, New Zealand, with the United States, and other Asian countries, and I think that's the biggest challenge. It's a challenge not just for the government, it's a challenge for the entire industry, it's a challenge for the Canadian Tourism Commission, and it's a challenge for the individual businesses and tour operators on this side. And I think you mentioned we need to make sure that our operators get a fair share, get a fair treatment in China, because I know there are some sensitivities that sometimes Canadian businesses operating in China are not treated fairly in terms of with their Chinese competitors. And we will be there as a government, and our embassy will be there to do everything we can to advocate for full access and to the Chinese market. And I think this is an important thing. Canada just recently joined the World Trade Organization panel on Chinese trading practices because we believe that there are some instances of trade unfairness on the part of the PRC. And good friends can have those disagreements. You know, good honest friends can say, look, we think you're not playing fair. And so if we don't see fair treatment for Canadian businesses trying to promote whether Canadian hotels or tour operators or airlines, we will let that be known. But we'll be there in a positive way to express those messages.
You know, you mentioned that Canada is competing Chinese tourism with other countries like Australia. So I've been in Canada for about 20 years. So we got to believe that we don't have much attraction. I know that we have CN Tower, we have Niagara Falls, and in this area we don't see much development in this one. So China will be building another Disney in Shanghai. So regardless of the tourism releasing your visa application, can your government think about, say, getting more infrastructure, building more attraction so that we can get more tourists?
Well, first of all, we're building infrastructure even in China to promote the Canadian brand. You mentioned the 2011 exposition, and the Prime Minister was there to preview the huge and beautiful Canadian pavilion at the Shanghai World Expo. That's part of our building a bigger, better Canadian brand for the Chinese market. But here in Canada, look, in terms of investing in infrastructure, we're doing that all the time. In fact, our government is investing billions in infrastructure as we speak as part of our economic action plan. Part of that infrastructure will help with tourism. I mean, look at the huge expansion of Canadian airports in the past few years. I have to give credit to the previous government. I think one of the best things they did was to change the governance of our airports so that they could operate on more of a business basis. And now look at Pearson. It's a huge world-class airport now. We've seen a huge expansion in the Vancouver airport as well. So I think we have improved transportation infrastructure for tourists. But don't sell us short. I mean, we're just an hour drive away from Niagara Falls, which is a world-class, is one of the great natural wonders of the world. People all around the world travel here to go to Niagara Falls. People can come here and if they're if they want to do joint packages, they can also be visiting the eastern seaboard of the United States. They can come up to Canada. There's a large Chinese community here. I think this is the largest Chinese community of any major city in North America, right here in Toronto, with the possible exception of San Francisco. So, I think there's a lot of advantages here.
Best Chinese food.
And the best Chinese food.
Yes, even compared to Asia.
All right.
Anyone else?
Well, thank you very much for coming out, folks. I appreciate it. I appreciate your patience in particular. And
It opens
yes. Everyone squeeze in. Squeeze. Let's move forward.
There, just in the back. 3, 2, 1.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys.